welcome to Speedvision, the 38th annual Runoffs. Today, the national championship in H production, and it's good to have you with us on what has turned out to be a good day for racing as we wrap up the Runoffs weekend. Cars on the racetrack in just a couple of moments. I'm Rick Benjamin, David Hobbs, and Tommy Kendall are alongside. Guy Hobbs will patrol pit lane for us here today. And gentlemen, this is one of the classic SCCA categories.
It has been around forever, and the newest car in this field is a VW Scirocco, if that tells you anything. So it's pretty much the playground of the midgets, sprites. David can probably give you a little bit better feel for these. He's pretty excited.
These were old cars when I was a kid. No, these are the cars I grew up with. I never actually raced either a sprite or a midget, but they were certainly racing hot and heavy then when they were brand new. Now these cars are all 30 years old, and H production was first held in 1958.
And it ought to be one of the more competitive races we will see this weekend. 22 cars ready to do battle. But with all the history here, we sent Guy Hobbs out on a little mission earlier to kind of handicap the field and give us a little insight into the history of this category.
Sports Car Magazine calls H production class one of the toughest there is here at the SCCA Runoffs at Mid-Ohio. In fact, there is lots of different potential winners. This man here, Dan Collishaw, finds it so exciting and so competitive that he travels all the way from Hong Kong to come and race. Also, Ray Yergler is in this field. He's leading the Central Division points right now. And Randy Canfield is also a 5-time champion of the H production. But my pick for this weekend is the guy that's starting in position number 1, in car number 1. It's Ron Bartel. He won last year, and he starts from the pole here today for the H production.
Bartel out of New Hampshire, Madbury, New Hampshire, as a matter of fact, and he will lead the field to green here in just a moment. Let's take a look at our starting lineup. 22 cars strong for H production in the national championship. Bartel and Brian Lynn will be on the lead row. He's from California. Chester Nemzicki and Anthony Childs in row 2. Steve Palmer and Dan Collishaw make up the third row. Mark Bellman and John Salisbury Jr. in row 4. Greg Feller and Ray Yergler, who's a past national champion. They'll start in row number 5 here today. Second group of 10, Jerry Lee Olson and Randy Canfield in the 6th row. Sean Thompson and Jamie Blust in the 7th. Bill Childs and Tony Drum. Kendall Jones and Joel McGinley in the 9th row. Johannes Kraus and Jay Lutz in row number 10. One final row to show you Mike Cummings and John Salisbury Sr. qualifying at the back of the pack here today. This is a very challenging racetrack. It's been well used, certainly, by this point of the weekend. The action just a few races away from completion here. And gentlemen, tell me about the 2.4-mile layout we have here at Mid-Ohio.
Well, the Mid-Ohio is one of the more challenging courses, not only because of the layout, in terms of topically, you have elevation change as well. Big up and down through the S's, up and over Madness, blind corners, rhythm sections. But the two places to focus on, the carousel and the keyhole. Two very, very long corners. A lot of time spent in each of those corners. The keyhole obviously being even more important, David, as it leads onto the straightaway.
Well, absolutely. And that long straightaway, a downhill straight with that kink in the middle. But, of course, most of the overtake here goes into those S's, so you really want to be well placed. If you can't get the keyhole right, you can never get right with the guy to get by him as you go into the S's. From the S's through the carousel, as you said, a lot of rhythm required to maintain the pace all the way through there. That Scirocco, the blue Scirocco towards the back there, looks absolutely positively giant compared to the rest of this field, doesn't it?
That's the only closed-top car in this race. Everything else is open cockpit. Interesting field of equipment. Of course, as we mentioned, these cars have quite a number of years and miles on them, certainly racing-wise, probably street-wise, before they were built up as race cars. Out of the keyhole to the backstretch, looking for the green flag to begin 20 laps of racing here in Mid-Ohio. Bartel in car number 1. Green flag is in the air, and we are underway.
Ron Bartel, the winner last year, but I don't think his start was that great. Brian Lynn right alongside him.
Watch Lynn to try to stay alongside through the right-hander. He's not able to do so. That would have put him on the inside up and over the hill. But
Bartel actually didn't seem to make a tremendous getaway at the beginning, but he certainly pulled away towards the turn 6 there and managed to keep in front. Field being very well behaved as they go through the S's there.
Even 2 and 3 wide at that part of the racetrack. Bartel off to the early lead. Brian Lynn in that 38 car running in second spot.
Chester Nemzicki in the 68 car, giving the car Brian Lynn quite a run.
And there's the 06 machine, Anthony Childs from Clarksville, Tennessee.
Still side by side.
5. Bartel at the end of lap number 1. Checking the qualifying board, gentlemen. Bartel out-qualified Brian Lynn by about 7/10 of a second. Now, I know that can be deceptive, but that's a pretty big gap in this kind of racing.
And it is. And if he's out in front and he's the quickest car by a decent margin, look for him to kind of stretch out. Different guy. Oh, you have another side-by-side battle with Zicky. This time on the outside. It was on the inside going into the carousel.
Now he's on the inside going into the keyhole. So I bet a good side-by-side racing and a lot of control shown by both drivers concerned.
That's Nemzicki in the orange car, the 68, third in line. Here comes the 18, bidding for fourth, trying to get third. Dan Kolashaw out of Indiana. He will move by Nemzicki.
That's a big move up from the sixth starting spot. Was quicker, but always found himself on the wrong side. Now Nemzicki tries to battle back.
That had the potential to be trouble.
It did.
Dog fight for third. The 68 car of Nemzicki right there.
Big wiggle from Kolashaw.
Right behind Nemzicki, the 06 of Childs out of Clarksville, Tennessee. The central part of the Volunteer State. Bartel continues to lead. Ray Yergler, the veteran from Ankeny, Iowa, 5-time champion. He is off the racetrack and getting some help from the corner workers.
Now, Ray Yergler was hoping to do better than that. He was one of the Sports Car Magazine's favorites for this race. Last year he came through from 19th to 5th, so his day is done today, unfortunately.
Whatever troubles he was having that made him start in 10th looks like they have persisted. Look at Kolashaw now. He's actually pulled away from Nemzicki and is pulling himself up onto the back bumper of Brian Lynn. Not quite there yet, but starting to draw a bead on that Sprite.
Yeah, Dan Kolashaw having a real good run. He's another one that's highly touted by Sports Car Magazine, and so far he's sticking to their form guide. Pulling away just a little bit. And he's going to be right with Lynn after the next couple of corners.
Nemzicki's orange car there in fourth.
Oh!
In fifth.
Contact there, quite
full contact. That's Greg Feller in that blue 46 with the roll cage. He's out of Toledo, Ohio. That is an MG midget.
06, Anthony Childs saying, easy, Feller. That was just a burn shot.
Yeah.
I figure, hey, you don't pass when you get a chance. You pass when you get there.
That's right. As evenly matched as these cars are, you certainly don't want to pass up an opportunity. And it's a short race. Just 20 laps. We're working lap number 3 in H production of the national championships here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. The SCCA's Valvoline Runoffs will continue in just a moment. Ohio, Ron Bartel in car number 1 continues to lead the H production battle. 38 of Brian Lynn. That's the white car with the orange trim there in second spot. The 18 machine of Dan Kolashaw from Noblesville, Indiana, running third. And then Chet Nemzicki of the 68. That's the all-orange machine. Fourth in line. He is fourth in the event right now. Bartel's got about 12 car lengths on Lynn, but he hasn't added much to that lead in the last lap or so. Here's that battle for fifth spot.
Boy, this looks like a pretty intense battle further back down through the field as well.
These cars are very evenly matched from front to back.
Yeah.
Randy Canfield in that 41. He is in 10th position. One of the elder statesmen here in H production as well as in the runoffs in their entirety. Now, Canfield is a 5-time national champion. Last won the honors, though, in 1990, and he is 71 years of age.
And he first won in H production in 1971 in a Sprite. Not this one, but a very similar car.
Canfield trying to move to the inside.
71-year-old not giving any quarter there. They go to turn 6, was definitely having a good look down the inside.
Steve Palmer there on the 48 directly in front of Canfield, the 91 car. Next in line, that's Sean Thompson from Alexandria, Virginia. Sherwin-Williams, Austin Healing.
These three having a terrific battle.
Look at Canfield. A nice drift up and over Madness. Getting a good run. It's on the wrong side. Heading up over. There's a lap car.
Chester Nemzicki is off the pace. He was up in the top 5 as Canfield makes that move good.
Boy, that was a strong move there by Randy Canfield.
In the pre-race handicapping, they were pointing out that Canfield, just because of his age, has not slowed. In fact, he was the 6th fastest qualifier a year ago. Car broke on him early in this race.
I'll tell you, that's pretty awesome.
Canfield gains a couple of spots. Meantime, the pressure is on for second. This is Dan Collishaw in that white car with the aqua trim, pressuring Brian Lynn in the 38. Running second behind Ron Bartel is Lynn. He's been there all the way. And now Collishaw thinks he may have a shot here down the backstretch.
Lynn up on the curve a little bit. Look at Collishaw. He's close.
There's a lap car in front which could spoil his plans as they come down to turn 6.
Lynn pulls him down the straightaway, though. That's Bartel.
Oh, that's not a lap car, that's Bartel.
And here comes Collishaw.
Boy, oh boy, what a great move there.
Wow, let's watch, see if he can do anything with our leader.
No problem at all. He just sailed by on the inside.
He's already, you can see him visibly closing.
Oh, Bartel now looking in his mirror pretty feverishly. Thought he had a real good lead there, but Collishaw really coming up.
Collishaw has found something, I think it's safe to say, in that 18 car.
Dan Collishaw doesn't get as much driving in as he'd like. He lives in Hong Kong. He commutes to the USA with his business. Does enough races on those trips to get into the finals. And here he is, after an awfully long trip, breathing down our leader's neck.
And they list his home address as Noblesville, Indiana. He must have a post office box there or something.
I think he works in Hong Kong, and I know he spends a lot of time there.
And as with so many battles here at the Runoffs, the tire battle is kind of the one that runs, there's a common theme that runs throughout. And the leader, Bartel, is on Hoosiers. Collishaw is on Goodyears. So, you know, the traditional line generally, the Hoosiers are very, very quick. The knock is that they're perhaps a little bit softer than they need to be if it warms up. So this is the warmest day we've seen all week. And Collishaw on the Goodyears, it might be just the Goodyears, the tires are coming in, the track is coming to him. So let's monitor this. On the other hand, Bartel might have just been kind of cruising along, monitoring that gap, because he doesn't look like he's closing it up right now.
Exactly. I think he looked in the mirror and saw what had happened, thought, uh-oh, I better just speed up a little bit here.
Well, here's Chester Nimzicki's car on pit road. Nimzicki out of the machine. His crewman helping take a look. They've lifted the front bodywork off, trying to see if they can diagnose the problem. We'll be back with more for the SCCA Runoffs. Right here at the SCCA's Valvoline Runoffs, only on Speedvision. Alongside Tom Kendall, David Hobbs, I'm Rick Benjamin. Guy Hobbs is on pit road as we bring you the national championship in H production for 2001. Defending title holder Ron Bartel is leading, but there's a little bit of smoke showing out of the back.
Definitely showing some smoke out of the backside of that car.
Bartel down the hill. To the left-hander. Still on the gas. Collishaw in the 18 has moved into second spot. Now, Collishaw qualified back in 6th, so as Tommy Kendall pointed out earlier, made a great move in the first couple of laps to get to second. We'll put the clock on it and see if he's cutting into Bartel's lead at all here.
I think he is just fractionally.
It does look like it.
Both cars looking terrific through that carousel leading onto that main pit straight.
1.2 seconds the gap. Here's your third place car, the 46 of Greg Feller out of Toledo. That's the blue machine just bouncing up over the curb with a full roll cage. The 06 car running fourth, Anthony Giles out of Clarksville, Tennessee.
Those are the two that got together. Feller has gotten around. He did a big old center punch into the door. Giles coming to the carousel a few laps.
Whoa! There he
Opened the door there himself. Wow, that looks like fun, doesn't it?
Feller's got the elbows up. There's no doubt about that.
You look at the front of that Sprite, can't help but bring a smile. Looks like a big old smiley face.
Yeah.
And he's got to run.
Giles been a big draft here. You're going to try and get out.
For third. I think he's got him. Forced Feller to get out of the gas and on the brakes. Now Feller may be able to come back at him here in the S's. We'll see.
That was a beautifully judged pass by Giles in the 06 car there. These two cars obviously incredibly evenly matched. The 46 car looks like it's a bit loose to me, a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely loose up in the carousel, and Giles was able to capitalize on that. He was really sawing the wheel entering, but he never really got it settled down even towards the exit. Like you said, was carrying the tail a little bit.
Childs is on those Goodyear tires that we were talking about earlier. That might give him a little advantage right at this point. Meantime, one of the cars that was in contention early is apparently done for the day. Let's go downstairs to Guy Hobbs.
Yeah, we're down here with Chester, who started third and scheduled for 20 laps. Chester, but only managed 4. What's the problem?
I'm not sure. Something went in the motor. It's running on 3, so I came in.
It certainly didn't sound good when you came in.
No, it didn't sound good at all.
Now, you're out there watching these guys and running with these guys. Do you think that Dan has anything out there for Ron Bartel right now?
Yeah. Collinshaw was going pretty good, and Brian Lynn seemed like they both have a lot of power, so they might have something for him.
All right, H Production, you just get to watch the race from this point on. Back to you up there, Rick.
All right. Thank you for the update on Chester Nemzicki, guy. We appreciate that. Watching this battle for third. It is still hot and heavy. Now, Brian Lynn, who had run second, qualified on the outside pole in that 38 car. He's out. We understand he is off the track somewhere out on the course here in Mid-Ohio, so that's why we're not talking about Brian Lynn at this point with 7 laps complete.
That time you saw Anthony Childs getting big time crossed up.
Yeah.
So, you know, all these guys probably dealing with about the same thing. Some of that might be track condition.
These cars are obviously very evenly matched.
And I would imagine with a relatively low horsepower car, momentum is a critical thing here. If you lose ground, lose momentum, you're really in trouble.
Yeah, no question about it. And that's where none of the leaders are into lap traffic. But we've seen lap traffic deciding some races where a guy will catch a car at just the wrong place. And especially like through here in the rhythm section, up over the S's and then down into Madness here. If you catch a car at the wrong time, your lap time can be 2.5 seconds slower on that lap because of the momentum.
Exactly, and you have absolutely no power to get it back. There's no way you could really pick up huge chunks of time again, so it could take you forever to pull back. If you have a 2-second deficit, it can take you 3 seconds to pull it back.
This is Phil Childs in that red number 86 car. He races out of Hopkinsville, Kentucky. Playing smoothly in 5th spot. Your 2 leaders, Bartel still out in front. Collishaw behind him in 2nd of this battle for 3rd, which has been intense the last several laps. Anthony Childs in the 06 has the spot, but Greg Feller out of Toledo in the 46 car right with him, and it's been entertaining to watch Feller attack the racetrack here.
Yeah, it really has. A lot of spirit, and that's what this is all about. This is like the Super Bowl. This isn't a 7-game series. It's all boiling down to one race the whole season. It's too bad because you can have a great year, but if you have a poor runoff, you feel like you had a not so great year. So a lot of is rolled into this 120-lap sprint.
That's the thing about these runoffs, is the fact that everything, your whole season gets down to this one race. You just make one little error and your season's done for. Rick Childs there with the Union Jack on his helmet and the 1960 Bug-Eye Sprite.
Phil Childs, I think, is going to get into play here in that 5th place car in a moment. Coming out of the keyhole, looked like he got a good run and he started to catch the battle for 3rd here. Up in front, meantime, last time by, Ron Bartel's lead is down to 9/10 of a second now over Collishaw. So there could be a battle up front shaping up here shortly as we watch the race for 3rd. Anthony Childs has the spot in that blue machine with the yellow stripes. 46 of Greg Feller is right behind. Great turnout on hand to watch the SCCA Valvoline Runoffs. The 8th renewal of the SCCA's National Championships, the Valvoline Runoffs. Alongside David Hobbs and Tommy Kendall, I'm Rick Benjamin. Guy Hobbs is on pit road. Ron Bartel in car number 1, the defending H Production National Champion. He's been on the pole and out front all the way, but I'm really impressed by the run Dan Collishaw has put in. He's come from 6th to 2nd, and he is doggedly pursuing Bartel. He hasn't gotten much closer. Meantime, here's Phil Childs up from 5th now to make it a 3-way battle for 3rd.
Exactly, the caught in a Childs sandwich.
And Phil Childs is having a tremendous run. He qualified in 15th spot, so he's obviously having a terrific run.
Anthony Childs way wide through the keyhole that time. Is that tires giving up?
No, he does it every time. It must be his line through there. He does go very wide on the exit. I'm not quite sure why he does that. But it seems to work all right.
Yeah.
Gets him onto the straight good enough to be able to hold onto that little gap he's got.
Not getting within shouting distance of the inside curve, which is definitely odd, but it seems to be working for him.
Meantime, up in front, last time by, Bartel's lead over Collishaw down to 0.65 seconds. So Collishaw chopping away at Bartel's lead. Trying to get Guy Hobbs perhaps to go to Bartel's pit area. We saw some smoke showing out of the back of that one car several laps ago. I wonder if Bartel's motor may be starting to give up here a little bit. There it is again.
I had said in one of the other races this weekend that Mike Dale had won that class. That was the GT5, because he hadn't won that. This is the class that Mike Dale, who was president of Jaguar North America for a long time, he won this H production back in 1973, also in a Sprite.
Out of the final corner to the front straightaway here in Mid-Ohio. And again, if you're new to Mid-Ohio and watching races here, that is the finish line that you see that the cars have just gone over. But as in the pro races here in Mid-Ohio, the green flag is thrown on what's considered the backstretch. The cars come out of the keyhole, longest straightaway by far at Mid-Ohio, although pit road is on the front stretch. We are halfway, and here's the battle up front. Bartel in the one car, the Valvoline machine still leading. Collishaw in that white car with the aqua-colored trim, the 18, right there in second spot. Guy Hobbs, what about Bartel's situation? Is he developing a motor problem?
Well, we haven't checked with Bartel just yet, but we did check in with Collishaw's crew. They said he's so busy concentrating on putting in the perfect laps that he's not radioing in anything. They think the difference is the fact that they're on Goodyear, though, and Bartel's on the Hoosiers, and we'll go and check on that motor story right now.
All right, we'll look for an update here shortly then.
Well, the oil, the smoke that's coming out of the back of that car, it's either, it can be coming from the transmission, the diff, or the engine itself. Regardless of whether it actually affects the performance of Bartel, we have a car number 41 on the gravel track.
That's the veteran Randy Canfield, the 71-year-old from Gaithersburg, Maryland, former champion 5 times over in H production. And it looks as though his afternoon may be done in that Sprite. He has buried that car in the gravel. Looks like off the chicane.
Yeah, that's a sand trap between the chicane and the back straight.
Here it is again.
Ooh, did he get help?
Might have
been a little contact there. Canfield sliding sideways. That's what the gravel trap is for, David. As you pointed out earlier, used to be very dangerous when you went across
but
there.
You could just go straight across and end up, as the guys exited the keyhole there, you were suddenly on the track facing the wrong way.
That's the main reason they went away from it with all the pro divisions. Back to the oil, what I was starting to say with the oil, that even if it doesn't affect Bartel's performance, with these being open cars, it can be getting on the windscreen, the visor of Dan Collishaw.
Certainly could be a concern as we watch Bartel. His mirror now full with Collishaw's 18 car. That is an Austin Healey Sprite, finished 1960. Just 44 hundredths of a second the lead now this time by. So Collishaw took another 2/10 off it, and you can see he's got it down to about 2.5 car lengths here through the chicane.
Now, Collishaw taking a slightly tighter line. How about Bartel? Yeah, a slightly tighter line in there. Maybe Bartel's tires are giving up just a little bit. But he's quickly there, quick to the exit of the keyhole, which is important.
Bartel on Hoosier tires, Collishaw on Goodyear's. One of the interesting wrinkles you find here at the runoffs. No spec tires in these categories. All right. We've got 8 laps to go in the H Production National Championship. We'll be back coming your way here on Speedvision from the SCCA's Valvoline Runoffs tomorrow night. Hope you can join us 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific time. Coverage of GT3 tomorrow here on Speedvision. Here are your 2 leaders in H Production. Ron Bartel, the pole sitter and the defending national champion in that Valvoline livery number 1. He's out in front. Dan Collishaw in the 18. Now it looks like Bartel has added to the advantage by a couple of car lengths. Last time around through the chicane, Collishaw had it down to about 2.5 car lengths. Looks like it's about 4 or 5 car lengths now. We'll see as they come across the stripe what the gap looks like here.
He definitely pulled out quite a bit on that lap, but he's also smoking quite a bit.
I was going to say, he's pulled out. That might be why. Collishaw, perhaps, whether he can see clearly or not, the smoke is definitely getting worse out of Bartel's car.
And the gap this time by, according to our booth clock, 7/10 of a second. So Bartel picked up a couple of tenths last time around. Guy Hobbs, is there a problem with Bartel's machine?
Well, if there is, they're not aware of it down here. I'm with Gene Bartel, his wife, and Gene, he's not saying much on that radio, is he?
Not at all. He's probably watching Dan.
Now they're talking, there's reports of smoke coming up the right rear. Any ideas what the problem might be?
Well, he has had smoke. It could be tire rub or it could be a rear seal.
Is there a problem with the seal? Because I saw you had some concern when that was mentioned.
Well, he has had a problem, but the crew chief has done everything possible to seal that up because it has been a problem in the past.
And that last lap, he was able to pull out a couple of tenths of a second over Collishaw. So the smile coming back onto your face, but you're looking very worried.
Well, Dan is his good friend and his partner in racing, so this is where we wanted them to be, 1 and 2.
It's a win-win situation for you.
What was that?
It's a win-win situation for you.
That's right.
All right.
They were 1-2 last year, and that's what we want to do. Repeat, 1-2.
All right, going for the repeat here. And you can see the crew chief, the other car right behind them. looking for a gold and a silver in the runoffs.
Now Bartel on the button, working lap 13 here at Mid-Ohio. He is out of Madbury, New Hampshire.
It is smoking quite a bit too now, isn't it? But it doesn't seem to be slowing him down at all.
Well, earlier in one of the races we were doing together, it was pointed out that the rear end seals on these cars are extremely tiny.
Yeah,
they don't hold much.
They weren't big on seals in those days.
I guess not.
Here you have the Scirocco.
Yeah. Car number 96 making a move. That's the machine of Johannes Kraus from Briarwood, New York. The 1980 Scirocco, 21 years old, just of legal age now. Sitting 12th, pass right behind him, the 22 car. Jamie Blust of Castle Rock, Colorado makes a move, picks up a spot. The 40 car seems to be backpedaling, and there's the 87 back on the racetrack. Now that's Ray Yergler from Ankeny, Iowa.
Boy,
Yergler, a past champion.
He looked like he was out for the day.
He was, yeah. He was beached there for quite a while, but he's gotten the car refired. Well, the 40, the Scirocco, up to 12th, Kendall Jones machine. I'm sorry, that's the MG. There's the 40. He was 12th. He's given up a couple of spots in the last few moments here. The Scirocco, car number 96. Now Yergler in the 87 car. He is one lap down, so apparently he was able to get the car refired fairly quickly. Only lost a lap.
His day is done as far as a good result, but he's just out there to have a good time. He towed it all the way this way. Figures he's going to get out there and mix it up, and he's gotten by a couple of cars, so he obviously is running well now for coming back from whatever that problem was.
The 96 car leading the 22, battling for 12th spot. Kraus ahead of Blust. Lead time, Bartel in the 1. Collishaw in the 18. Running 1-2, and Collishaw has gained back, I think, a couple of the tenths he lost a lap ago. Running lap 14 on the board, 6 to go. It's still Ron Bartel's race as he bids for his second consecutive H Production gold medal at Mid-Ohio. Lap 15 here at Mid-Ohio, the H Production National Championship of the SCCA's Valvoline Runoffs, only on Speedvision. And Collishaw last time by had chopped the margin, the lead of Bartel down to 4/10 once again. He's drawing nearer down the backstretch. Meantime, the battle for third has started to heat up once again. The 06 car, Anthony Childs, has the spot. But the 46 of Greg Feller from Toledo right behind him. And then Ray Childs should be next in line in the 86 car. There's the cars running first and second through the S's.
Well, they haven't really pulled an awful lot away from Childs in the 06 car there. So these top 5 cars all covered pretty much. Those 2 leaders get tangled up in any way, shape or form. Childs here in the 06 car has got a good chance of jumping right in there.
And the lead battle getting even closer now. Collishaw starting to run out of time here. There'll be 5 to go when they come over and start finish next time.
Well, you're going to see by looking at the map and looking at the way that this track weaves through the Ohio countryside that catching up with somebody and following them is one thing. Getting by is a totally different kettle of fish. But Collishaw in good position now, and of course what he wants to see, but the traffic in front.
Yeah, lap traffic could well be a key here. This field only 22 cars, so it's not like you've got a lot of other cars out there to deal with on a 2.4-mile layout.
And it is always harder being the first guy to get to traffic because you're the guy who has to make the move. There's a guy following, can gauge off you. Sometimes you can't afford to lay back and create a gap but this guy in second can do just that.
This is a 3-way battle for third. Last time down, start, finish.
Wow.
The gap between first and second, 2,300. So Collishaw took 2/10 out of the lead the last time around.
Oh, Phil Childs had a great exit from the keyhole there.
Here
now.
he comes.
Wow, he's dropping out too soon. If I'd have been him, I'd have stayed in the draft a bit longer.
Yeah.
He runs out of power.
He should have stayed in the draft.
Faking inside, looking outside. He doesn't have enough, and that lets Anthony Childs pull away a little bit.
He had him coming off that. And he stayed right with him in spite of not being in his draft. If he'd just drafted him, he could have got him there.
That is a father-son combination. Anthony Childs is the son. Phil is his dad. It's got to be a point of pride, certainly, for Phil Childs to see his son a couple of positions ahead. Back up in front, here's Bartel with a lot of smoke showing this time. Collishaw, though, has fallen a little further behind. So Collishaw was building the lead, but
I think that lap car went the wrong way there for Collishaw.
chopping into the lead, we should say, and Bartel able to pull back a little bit of the advantage as they lap by that slower car. It should be lap 16, so there'll be 4 to go here.
Well, Bartel's car gets that apex on the carousel every time, and he's right tucked inside. Does a good job there.
Really, really clean through there.
Yeah.
Well, that's why he's the defending champ.
There you go.
Just like old Tommy Kendall used to win all those Trans Am races, one after the other. About as boring as you could get. Just one on.
Well, it all depends on your perspective, I guess. I quite enjoyed those races.
Last time by,
great race.
that battle for the top spot, Bartel had stretched the lead back to 0.8 of a second. So Collishaw had cut it way down to 0.2 and then gave up half a second or more on the last lap. This is for third. You've got 4 cars now in the mix. Anthony Childs, Greg Feller next in line, Ray Childs, and looks like the 39 of Mark Pellman out of Sarasota, Florida.
And he's come to grips with this lot.
Come out of nowhere, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, Pellman in the 39 did qualify 7th, so he was reasonably quick all week. Now starting to get racy here in the waning stages.
Feller's still loose, like you said, David, but he's able to run the lap time. It looks a lot more dramatic. It looks like it's more work, but he's able to stay just off the bumper.
Yeah, he's hanging right
inside there.
As you say, it looks like a lot of work, but it's working.
Yep.
Anthony Childs leads this battle for third in the 06 blue car. Greg Feller next in line, the car with the roll cage, and then the red machine of Ray Childs. That's the number 86. And
there's an opening.
Pellman. Here comes Feller in the carousel.
Childs felt him and left him room.
Don't you think Feller's sliding the car too much in that situation?
Well, I mean, it's never as fast to slide the car as it is to keep it straight, but he's able to stay right there. It did cost him in that case.
Phil Childs moves by for 4th in the 86.
Yep.
Good move by Phil Childs there as he got around the 46 car, so the 46 car's got his work cut out, and now he's got the interloper who's come up from behind to worry about now. Like you said earlier on, you've got locks up the front there.
That's Feller in the 46. He's given up the spot to Phil Childs. And the 39 machine of Pellman right there in 6th.
And Pellman can have a go at Greg Feller now as they come down the straight. Drafting him, possibly not quite close enough this time.
Chunks of rubber flying as they come down the back.
Oh, yeah.
Here comes Pellman looking inside.
Maybe Fella's
got him.
Fella's brakes or tires are going off. Yeah.
Feller right back at it on the high side.
Good.
Boy, Feller is not afraid to drive that car hard all over the racetrack.
That's some good stuff going on.
Down through the S's. Great battle now for 5th. Just a couple of laps to go at Mid-Ohio. The H Production National Championship battle here on Speedvision. Production just 2 laps to go. Ron Bartel in car number 1 is your leader. He's led all the way after qualifying on the pole. The 18 machine, Dan Collishaw, 0.7 of a second behind. Bartel at this point shows that he's got enough race car to keep Collishaw at bay. Collishaw, meantime, if he's got anything for the leader, he needs to start showing his hand here. And quite a fight for third, a 4-way battle. The father-son team, Anthony Childs, has the spot. His dad, Phil, in that red car you see right behind him. That's the 86 machine. And Greg Feller is next in line. And Mark Pellman, 4th in that group. Now, the gray car, the kind of primered car you see there, that's a lapped car in the midst of that battle.
Yeah, that killed Pellman. He tried to go on the outside, which is kind of low percentage, but he was losing contact with that bunch that he finally caught.
Tony Drum in that primered car, the 70 out of Mount Holly, North Carolina.
Some hand signals from son to father. I think he was pointing his dad by, but his dad didn't take it.
Now that would be a strong performance by a son to help his dad score a podium finish here. The spirit of these racers is something that I'm just enchanted by this weekend.
The bravery of them too. I mean, these guys race like there's no tomorrow. Everybody we've seen this whole weekend is just absolutely sticking right in there. They give no quarter. But racing, by and large, the racing's been very clean.
Feller in that blue car with the roll cage on the button again here, trying to get back into contention for third. Anthony Childs has the spot. Last lap coming up here at Mid-Ohio.
Look at Pellman has caught up that quickly.
Oh,
Another big
Fella's down
slide.
again on that big oversteering slide. Collar Shaw's going to have to do this in one lap.
Here comes Feller, but Pellman, I think, has got him.
Pellman on the outside.
Down into turn 1. Pellman picks off the spot. He is 5th now.
He's got the speed. He doesn't have enough corners left, I don't think, to catch and pass this 3rd and 4th place car.
I don't think so.
And if you're wondering about the leaders, as they start down the back straightaway, 0.6 of a second the gap last time by. So Collishaw got it down to 0.2 a couple of different times, but Bartel able to pull away when he saw that 18 car filling his mirrors. This, though, excellent racing for 3rd spot here at H Production.
Where Pellman is just blinding from the S's over Madness back towards the carousel.
Now here comes the 86.
Is Phil going to go right
Phil
now?
trying the outside.
Father Phil Childs to the outside of son Anthony takes over 3rd. Bartel now starting to approach some lap cars once again.
Oh my goodness me, only just about 4 or 5 corners to go.
So, that's the last thing he wants to see in the last place he wants to do it.
That's Bartel, the car with the white nose. He'll move by that number 40. He is your leader, Bartel, out of the right-hander. Short straightaway coming up. They're coming up on the Scirocco next. Collishaw in the 18 rides in 2nd spot.
Well, it ain't over till it's over, and if things could go wrong for him, the Scirocco looks like it's making plenty of room for them.
And look at this, Collishaw right up on the back bumper now of Bartel in the final corner. He wiggles the car. Bartel out of the last turn to the straightaway. Checkered flag is in the air, and Ron Bartel has scored his 2nd consecutive national championship in H Production at the Valvoline SCCA Runoffs. Final margin of victory just under half a second for Bartel. Bill Childs gets the final podium spot in 3rd. Anthony Childs should come home in 4th spot. Then the 39th car, Mark Pellman, coming home in 5th. So Ron Bartel goes wire to wire, but he certainly had his hands full. Guy Hobbs, what does Mrs. Bartel think of all this?
Well, looking at the smile on her face, I'd say she's very happy. Gene, thrilled with that one?
We're very happy. We got our 1-2 finish, and that's what we wanted. And it was a nice, clean race. We're happy.
It's also 2 in a row for Ron.
2 in a row, and this is his 30th year racing.
Wow. So he's going to have to come back next year, though, to go for a 3-peat.
He will.
All right.
He'll
Well,
be
look.
here.
All right, Gene. Well, we'll go down and meet him in victory lane when he comes back. In the meantime, guys, back up to you.
I'll tell you, that's impressive. She looks pretty happy. Like the graphic told you, wife number 1. I'm wondering how many he has.
Let's hope it's just that one. Out of Madbury, New Hampshire. It's a long haul to Mid-Ohio from New Hampshire, I can tell you. And we congratulate Ron Bartel battling back despite that smoke pouring out of the back end of the 1 car all race long. The thought is it was a rear end seal of some sort. Bartel picks off the victory in H Production. We'll talk to him on pit road when we continue here on Speedvision. This car course, Lexington, Ohio, the H Production National Championship completed here in the 38th SCCA Valvoline Runoffs. There's Jean Bartel coming over to congratulate her husband. Ron Bartel put that car on the pole by about 0.7 of a second here this weekend and never looked back. Took off at the drop of the green and went wire to wire, although Dan Collishaw filled his mirrors the entire race. Let's head downstairs to Guy Hobbs.
We're down here with Ron Bartel, who's struggling at the moment to get the safety equipment, neck brace and helmet off. And obviously he's very excited. Gene is helping him. We'll try and get, there he is. Here comes the helmet and the balaclava. Congratulations, champ, 2 in a row. Must be thrilled with that. We can't hear a word I'm saying. Congratulations, 2 in a row.
Unbelievably thrilled. Dan put the pressure on me the whole race. I thought it was going to happen a few times. My hat's off to my car builder, Ken Farback. The motor was just incredible through the whole race. That's what kept me in it. I was able to pull him in the straight every lap. He had all I could take. I want to thank everyone involved, my sponsors. The Hoosier Tires hung in there for the entire race. They were perfect. I want to thank the people from Valvoline. They've been great to me. I can't say enough. I'm just excited. They say the first win is the greatest, and it probably is, but I'll tell you, this is pretty close, the second win.
Now, at one point, Dan got real close to you there, but you were able to open the gap up a little bit.
Well, there was times when he was probably trying things and lost a little ground, and there was times when I was overcooking it and losing a little ground, so it was a give and take kind of thing, but fortunately I was able to keep him back there the whole race. He was right there ready to give me some trouble.
During the race, there were some reports of smoke coming out the right rear of your car. Were you aware of that, or did you see it, and did you have any fear of it?
I had a little bit of smoke coming out of the cockpit. I was just sure it wasn't getting on the tires. Maybe it was a little bit. I don't know. But everything hung in there for the whole race, and that's what you need to win these things.
All right, congratulations. 2001 national champ, 2 in a row. He gets the gold medal here today in the H production.
And see, one of the privileges of being wife number one, Tommy, is you get to ride along.
Absolutely, and he put 1 HP, like it says. He put that 1 horsepower to judicious use. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, shoot.
Well, we'll see the victory lap here in just a moment. Mrs. Bartel holding the traditional Runoffs flag with the American flag on top of it here this weekend at Mid-Ohio. So Bartel is your winner. Collishaw second. That battle for third was really entertaining the whole way, and Phil Childs gets the final podium spot.
And Greg Feller there, you got to feel sorry for him in 6th. He was running third there for so long, and the Childs family picked him up, and then finally Mark Bellman got him towards the end there. So, but Greg Feller put on a great display all afternoon.
Steve Palmer, Sean Thompson, John Salisbury, and Jay Lutz rounding out your first 10 here today in H production. So another event into the books in the 2001 SCCA Valvoline Runoffs. The Bartel family taking their victory lap here in front of the huge crowd that's on hand at Mid-Ohio. We'll talk to some of the other contenders when we continue after this. It's car, of course, here on Speedvision. Ron Bartel on his victory lap. He'll pick up the honors, the gold medal in just a couple of moments. Jean, with her second opportunity to hold on and ride along and carry that checkered flag. Dan Collishaw, Steve Bartel told us, pretty much a racing partner to the Bartel family. Comes home in second spot. Let's go back downstairs to Guy Hobbs.
Yeah, Dan, you started 6th, but quickly got up front and then had a great race at the battle up there. Just heard you say you thought he may blow up, but he didn't.
Yeah, I thought he'd either make a mistake or blow up. He was smoking so much, but unfortunately for me, he drove a good race, didn't make any mistakes, so chased him to the end.
Now, where did he have you as far as speed on the track? Where did he have you?
Basically on the back straightaway. In the tight stuff, I could sort of make up what I lost on the straightaway, but he pulled me down the back straight, and that was, in the end, that was the difference.
All right, but a 1-2 finish. Hong Kong's long, long way away, but you commute to race.
Yeah, well, I like this stuff so much, I come all the way from Hong Kong. And,
now, when do you go back?
Tuesday morning.
All right, well, good luck with that long-distance travel. They've got to go back. The winner's got to go back to New Hampshire. And let's bring in Phil Childs now, who at the last moment just got by your son Anthony to take 3rd place and the bronze medal. Did he let you by, or did you win your way by?
He waved me the lap before, but I didn't really want to go around. But the second lap, I went ahead and took it.
The two of you and Fella had a great battle going on.
We had a good run. We really did.
Enjoyed your runoffs here this year?
Yes, I did. Most definitely.
Bronze medal, come back next year?
I'll be back next year.
All right. Okay, thanks very much, Phil Childs, and we'll try and get a word with Tony, but he's disappeared, but he waved him off and brings it home 3rd.
Now Phil Childs with a good run, racing out of Kentucky, Hopkinsville, Kentucky, and that's one of the things I think that's intriguing about this event. Drivers of all different age groups. We've seen 16-year-olds run well, and gentlemen obviously well into their 50s.
Well, I said earlier that Randy Canfield, who was the oldest driver in the race at 71 years old, we saw him stuck in the gravel there. He, in fact, won this H production back in 1969.
Yeah.
So that's a cool 32 years ago. And that's incredible that he could still be in that same class.
Sure.
Because these Austin Hilly Sprites and the midgets and the Morgans, they make such a perfect car, just keep on going year after year after year after year. So.
Shame they don't sell them anymore, because, I mean, it's almost like an SUV. Look, it comfortably seats 3.
Well, seats 3 anyway. A little bit comfortable bit.
One way or another in this circumstance. Well, the sun has reappeared here at Mid-Ohio. Certainly bodes well for the balance of the 2001 SCCA Valvoline Runoffs. More to come tomorrow night at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific time. Hope you can join us. Coverage of GT3. That ought to be a great one as well. We'll have that for you here tomorrow night at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific only on Speedvision. Hope you can join us then. So very entertaining H production battle. Good racing up front. Good racing for 3rd spot, and full contact at times, gentlemen.
Correct fella there, getting into the side of Childs' car, and there you see Randy Canfield getting into that gravel trap. There's the boot open, or trunk. Ooh.
In need of a bungee cord and some duct tape, I think, the 37
The
car.
left front mud guard there, damn it.
Ron Bartel only needed the opportunity to get to the checkered flag first, which he did. Well, for Tommy Kendall and David Hobbs and Guy Hobbs, I'm Rick Benjamin, congratulating Ron Bartel, our winner of the H Production National Championship. We'll see you next time here on Speedvision.